This is the first lecture where we start to go into the actual HTML5 tags. The first section of this course has been about the old HTML, not using the new tags in HTML5, and explaining CSS. So now I'm going to assume that you know HTML and CSS, at least the basics. So now we're going to go into the HTML5 tags. So we're going to start off with the structure tags, or the semantic tags. The structure tags that were in HTML are still there. You have the div and the p and the heading tags and so forth. But they've added quite a few tags that are used to provide semantic meaning. And semantic means that the name of the tag actually states what it's being used for. It actually provides a meaning, both to a human and to a developer, and as well as to a computer. And so we can see a list of them here in my CSS. We have article, which is supposed to be used to represent some type of article or information in your site. We say if it was about news. Aside is something, is it a tangent to the actual main subject in small blocks to the left or right? You usually see it. Figures is used for figures of some sort. A footer is the footer section in a page. The header is the header section in the page. And then you have menu is for the nav. And then nav is for menus, rather. And then sections is you can use that tag to break up your page into sections. Of course, you're still going to use the div and some ID tags to mark things up. But otherwise, you can provide a lot more semantic meaning to your page using these instead. So basically what I've done is done a page design similar to what I did in the structural tags section of the HTML. But now I've done it all with the semantic tags as well. And we see I use a style tag. We're in the code, of course. Internal style, CSS. And we can see I format display block. I've made this rather responsive, that it adjusts to the size of the window, everything. So it gives you a basic skeleton there if you want to design it like this. And then a few unique identifiers here for page container, page header, content container, and then the page footer. That's the end of the style tag. So that's all. I'm going to hide all of these, the CSS. Then we have the actual body. The body, you see, it actually consists of one div tag. That's the ID page container. So the whole page in the body is in this div. And then I have a header. And this is the header for the entire page. Page header at the very top. And then I have a content container. And we can see the content container. I put the page and the header outside of the content. But the whole page is here. So this is the structure I've chosen. I'm going to leave the header and footer hidden. And then in the content, we have the navigation that's separate, the nav tag, which is the menus. And then I've done sections. I just kind of made things up here in section 1 and section 2. This page isn't this like that. Section 1 and section 2, all of this contained both the navigation and the sections in the content section of the course. And then I've done so fancy that I put a header into each section. So I've used the header tag to a section header tag and given it special styling. Then in each section, I have an article, like the main subject of that section, and an aside, something that is tangent to that subject. I use a figure tag. I put an image in there just to show how it looks. And then, of course, a footer in each section. Then I repeat basically the code here. And I even show how you can use and define and use semantically tag your pages, as this is a person, tagging URLs and addresses and so forth with RDF. So this makes it easier to index and gather information about your page. So here we go, the new way to use HTML5 sections. And of course, this is variable, how you divide it into sections, how you divide the header and footer and use them and so forth. But the key ideas are there. Divide your page into sections. You have a header and your footer. You have a nav for the menu. And then the main information in your web page is in articles, and then asides or something that are not, maybe advertisements or something else. So to see what this great page looks like, we can go here, do a little refresh. And we can see everything I think is responsive. It scales down according to, we have the page header, and then the navigation. And then we have the big box here for the section header and 2 sections, and then the page footer. And then each section had a footer and a header. And then we had an article and a tag. And this big section here was the figure. I didn't actually make that responsive, the image. So see, everything else slides down You see how it fills the areas and everything, keeping the aside to the right, and so forth, except for the image. And if you want to make this truly responsive, you'd have to make the images responsive, or the figure in this case. So that's how we do structure with our semantic tags in HTML5. As usual, just download the code and start testing and experimenting with this.